I suppose you know what the time is, Mrs. Sharples?
What about it?
Well, it's half an hour open already they are, and not so much as a stiff of the barmaid's apron.
Don't talk to me about time. If you'd come when you said you would, I'd have been sided up by now and enjoying the milk stout myself. Anyhow, I thought all you taffies were strong chapel and didn't hold with the demon drink.
Well, now, I'll tell you, Mrs. Sharples. After the time I left Aberafon, I was TT. But as my old gran says, you can't live amongst the English and remain entirely uncorrupted.
Hello. Taking up totting then, have we, Mrs. Sharples?
Hey, now, you leave my donkey alone.
Hey, tell me, how many jam jars do I need for a couple of donkey stones?
Look, if you've got naught better to do than to stand there making clever remarks, you can give us a lift with this lot.
Ah, well, you know, like the fellow with the wooden leg said when he got asked on to do the clog dance.
I would if I could, but I can't.
Exactly. No, you see, there's this fella who lights his cigars with £10 notes, and he is very keen to make me and Len into fellow millionaires. You don't believe me, do you?
No.
By gum, I do wish I had a more honest face. I sometimes think that's what holds me back.
Oh, stand there, boy.
Oh, ma'am, come on, make your mind up. You're not getting stuff in for Princess Anne's African safari, you know. It's only me dad's tea. And I should have been shut 10 minutes ago.
Now, listen, Jock, I'm not going to be rushed. It's one of the secrets of us maritime bliss, is that? The trouble I take keeping your dad's belly happy.
You don't say.
I do say. And there's one or two madams round here would have kept their fellas a bit longer if they'd thought more about what were going on table and less about what were going on their faces.
She's not mentioning no names, like, but this woman has a mop of red hair and a son what lives in Bristol.
I'm not casting no aspirations in any particular direction, but I think we all know who I'm on about.
Look, far be it from me to come between you and Mrs. Godfrey Wynne here, but you do know we have a date tonight.
Yes, but there's this very close relative of mine can't decide whether to give me dad for his tea, lunch and meat or salmon paste butties.
Ah, take the word of an expert, it'll make it salmon paste every time, love.
How'd you make that out?
Well, it's fish, isn't it? Brain food, and that mighty computer between you and Stan's ears needs all the fuel it can get, doesn't it?
I'll take the luncheon, mate.
See what I mean? One word from me and she pleases herself. So I'll pick you up at 7 o'clock, all right?
All right.
Hey, and avoir du pois, eh? Not to mention chemin de fer, eh?
You and Ray off out somewhere tonight?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, anywhere special?
Oh, go on, I'll tell you, ma'am. There's this friend of Ray's and he's made millions out of sauna baths.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he wears diamond cufflinks, he drives a white Mercedes, and you know what? He's been dying to meet me because he thinks that I'm like a French film star or something.
Oh, yeah. Pull the other one, it's got bells on.
If I was you, I'd get rid of half this stuff, give yourself more room. Well, I mean, it's only collecting dust.
If you and me, Lucille, you get off that table for a start. And if the dust upsets you, you'll find dusters in the dresser drawer.
Here we are, Mrs. Sharples. That's about the last.
Right. Thank you.
Well, a bit straighter now.
Yes, a bit.
Nothing else I can do for you?
No, thank you.
Nothing you want taken away that you find you've got no use for anymore?
Well, you could take that table. I mean, one gust of wind, it'd fall to bits.
I'll thank you to leave that table alone, Lucille Hewitt. Alfred made that table with his own hands the year we were married.
It's no use to you.
I'll find a use for it. As I said, Alfred did that with his own hands the year we were married.
Yeah, well, what about these pictures then? They worth a couple of bob.
Definitely not.
The glass is all broke on that
Yes,
one.
but glass can be replaced. Memories are not so easily replaced.
Mrs. Sharples, I don't mean to be grasping, but I seem to remember you did promise
All
to...
I promised was that if there was anything I thought I didn't want, you could have first pick. And that promise still holds good.
Oh, so that now that you've moved in, you're not going to find anything, is that it?
You're not suggesting that I got you to help me under false pretences, are you?
No, indeed, I wouldn't think of suggesting such a thing. All I'd say is that you've missed your vocation. You should be a lawyer or a union negotiator or something.
There's a pile of stuff that I don't want outside the back door. I'm not going to say it'll buy you a decent cart, but at least it'll more than cover your expenses.
Oh, well, thank you very much, but you see, I thought...
I know what you thought, and we all know what thought did, don't we?
Ooh. Excuse me. Thank you very much.
And don't stand there grinning like Minnie Colwell's daft cat. I've told you where the dusters are. Go and get yourself one.
Oh, flaming Nora! Flaming!
That's another couple of pints you want me, Stanley?
You know, there's one thing you don't understand about this game. You don't just stand there, aim and chuck.
Oh?
No. You've got to keep telling yourself all the time, this time it's going to go in, it's going to go in.
I keep telling myself, but who tells them flipping darts? 2 pints, love.
Right, champ.
Don't be sarky.
Hey, get a load of trendy Wendy here.
Yes, well, no applause, please. Those wishing to express appreciation, just chuck money.
And where are you going? Dressed up like a dog's dinner?
Oh, I just thought I'd brighten up your Irma's drab existence, Stanley. Showed a slice of life, you know.
Scent and all, eh?
You must be joking. That's the very latest in aftershave. Guaranteed to send your bird wild with desire at 20 yards.
Oh,
Yes, well, if you two gents will just excuse me. Oh, and Stan, don't bother to get me a large scotch or out like that in. I haven't got time.
Yes, Ernest.
Is Emily back yet?
Well, if she is, love, she's been very quiet about it. Shall I go and see?
No, it's not important. But when she does come in, would you give her these?
Oh.
It's keys to the studio. We've got to work late tonight, and she may just get back before I do.
Yeah, right.
Right, thanks a lot.
You know, in my day, it used to be come up and see my etchings. What were it in yours?
None of your business.
Blimey, yeah, young lucky Val Langton's got good taste and all. He's not a bad judge, is he?
Hello, Lenore. Hello, Papa.
Hey, give all with a bit swell as puffy as Langton.
Do you know what puzzles me, Stanley?
What?
How a great gobbaloo like you comes to have a gorgeous creature like this.
Cheeky, my dad was one of the beauties of his day, wasn't you, Dad?
I've turned a few heads in my time, you know.
See what I mean? Not just a pretty face.
Do you having a drink then, love?
No, she's not. She's coming with me.
Oh, don't be so rotten. I'm sure this friend of yours can wait 5 minutes.
I said no. Now, come on, let's get our skates on.
And who's this friend then?
Ask me no questions, Leonard, and you'll get told no lies. But just remember this. Any friend of mine is a friend of yours. And if me and Miss France go over big tonight, that could be the beginning of a very beautiful friendship for all of us. Don't worry, Leonard. The future of Fairclough in Langton couldn't be in better hands.
Hey,
Yes, Dad, if you'll pardon the expression.
watch it. You know what I mean?
Why, Stanley, what do you take me for?
Hello, monsieur.
Come on. A little present. Oh. Yes, from your Ernest. He would have sent you the key to his heart, but he couldn't just lay his hands on it, so you'll just have to make do with the key to the studio instead.
Oh, thank you.
Is everything all right, love?
Oh, yes. Except that sometimes I know exactly how Pearl White must have felt as the great big saw got nearer and nearer.
How do you mean?
Oh, decisions. Decisions, Betty, that just can't be put off any longer, I'm afraid.
Hey? You and your Ernest
Not
aren't...
at all, but... Well, I have been worried for some time that working hand in glove, as it were, with the man you've got an understanding with, it's just not on, and the arrival of the community centre's made the problem even more acute.
Why should it?
Well, both Ernest and I have certain ambitions in that direction, and if they should be realised, we'll be seeing even more of each other than we are now.
Oh, you mean like sort of being married with none of the advantages, right?
In a nutshell. And Ernest seems to be totally unconscious of the fact that any problem even exists. I've had to take all the initiative myself.
Oh?
I've applied for a job at the warehouse.
Oh, I see. And your Ernest doesn't approve.
Ernest doesn't even know about it yet.
Hey.
Hey-ho.
Yeah.
You coming through, look?
Yes.
Right, Stanley Ogden, what's her name then?
What?
Have you been down that Inkerman Street again behind my back?
What are you on about?
You know very well what I'm on about. The madam has just put powder on your collar and left you smelling a violet.
Our Irma just kissed me before she went out.
Oh, our Irma, Stanley Ogden, has never kissed you in her life, and she's a bit old to be starting now.
You can't win, can you?
Now then, Mrs. Caldwell, I thought you'd have been round at Mrs. Sharple's getting a royal preview of the new premises.
No.
Have you two had words?
Well, not words as such.
You're just not speaking.
Oh, we are speaking. If our paths should cross accidentally.
Why? What so?
Well, when Ina was flitting, I did offer to help. Only she said that I'd only get under her feet, and so I didn't. And now, well, I'm beginning to wish I had done.
But I thought she told you not to.
Oh, yes, she did. Only she would have expected me to ignore that. And so this time, I decided I wouldn't.
Oh, I see.
Still don't know why you do it.
Do what?
Well, cling on to useless old things just because they remind you of somebody. Mr. Noblett was the same, you know. Cling on to things that were neither use nor ornament. I'll never get like that.
Won't you?
Off with the old, on with the new. That'll be my motto from now on. Keeps you young.
So that's what you think's important, is it? Keeping young?
Well, wouldn't you like to be 21 again?
What, and go through all I've been through all over again? No, thank you very much.
Hello. Just popping in to see if there's anything I can get for anybody.
Well, you can get yourself a cup of tea if you feel like one. The pot's still warm.
No, thank you. I really am on the wing.
Well, what do you think then?
Oh, yes. Very homely. And with a distinctly biblical motif, I think. Yes, it's more than a little reminiscent of a certain mission hall which once stood upon this spot.
That's what I thought.
Except, of course, that by its very nature, a community centre of this kind must remain strictly non-denominational. But I don't suppose Mrs. Sharples, of all people, will need reminding of that fact.
Of course not.
Oh, well, back to the treadmill.
Right, darling. From here on in, you're going to be a cross between Bridget Bardot, Maurice Chevalier, and General de Gaulle.
Ray,
What?
let's go home.
Look, I'm telling you, it'll be a doddle. All you need to carry it off is nerves of steel and a face like brass. I'm telling you, you'll walk it.
Oh, thanks very much.
Pardon?
Merci beaucoup with bells on.
That's better. Hello. Hello, Stella, love. Irma, meet the hostess with the mostest, Stella Randall. Stella, meet Mademoiselle Irma Barlow, all the way from Paris, France.
Oh, hello.
Good evening.
I know Paris very well.
Oh, really?
Yes, I once did a club tour there.
Oh, how interesting. You must tell us about it sometime.
Well, how'd you like this country?
Very nice, especially the north. The people here make me feel so much at home. You know, sometimes I feel so much at home here. I feel as if I have lived here all my life.
Oh, how nice to meet you.
Hello, Romeo. Son, I'm sorry I'm late.
Mel, how are you, killer?
Oh, great. And this is Mademoiselle Myrna Barlow, n'est-ce pas?
That's right. Hot and fresh from the Paris jet set.
Snap. What? Oh, Mademoiselle Barlow, I'd like you to introduce a very good friend of mine, Mademoiselle Françoise Dubois.
Mademoiselle, enchantée. Mais quelle surprise de trouver ici une autre Française. Vous savez, j'étais tellement étonnée quand Mel m'a dit que l'amie de Raymond était française aussi. Right, Emma. When one is in England, one should of course speak English.
Oh, now, come on, Françoise. I mean, that was the main point of bringing you along, so you two could have an actor in your own lingo. And we don't mind not knowing what you're saying about us, do we, Ray?
Oh, of course not.
Mais non, c'est essentiel to speak the language. Isn't that so, Emma?
Oh, yes. Ever since I have been in England, I have spoken nothing but English. You know, sometimes I think that I have lived here all the time.
Oh, but you speak so parfait. You know, your English is much better than mine.
Just like a native.
Which part of Paris do you come from, Emma?
Irma, darling, shall we dance? I think they're playing our tune.
Your tune?
That's right. Of course, you'll think I'm just a sentimental slob, but they was playing this tune when we first met, and I still can't hear it without wanting to sweep Irma off a little feet.
Oh, he's romantic, this one, for an Englishman.
Oh, yes, the stories I could tell you about him, especially on the back row of the cinema, but no, it would only embarrass you, wouldn't it, Sherry?
Oh, come on then, tell him in French, then he won't know where to blush.
Shall we dance?
You know, really, he's very shy. Sometimes I think I'm the first real woman he has ever been out with, but don't you think the English women are so cold?
Does Mrs. Ina Sharples live here?
What about it?
I am your friendly beer-at-home representative. Would either of you two ladies like to indulge in a little internal suntan lotion?
Well, you've got me interested. I'm spitting feathers.
You'll find 3 glasses under the slopston.
Right.
Thanks, Clem.
Welcome back to Coronation Street.
I'm like that bad penny, aren't I?
Can we come in?
Why, do we have a choice?
We just thought we'd drop in and see how you was getting on. Now the dust settled a bit like.
Make that 2 more while you're at it, Lucille. I take it we can talk you into having a drink with us.
Oh, well, it's just a social visit, like, you know.
Do you know, we had a funny feeling this was where you might be headed when we seen you buying in.
I had a funny feeling you had an all. You didn't bring any provisions with you by any chance?
Oh, we're not stopping long, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice too, Mrs. Sharples. For what it is like.
I'd try the other side if I were you. We've not got to there yet.
Since when did you have to knock to come through my front door?
Well, I did think of chucking my cap in first, and that's what Sonny Jim used to do if he thought he wasn't welcome.
Well, I suppose you know what you're talking about, Minnie Colwood. I'm blowed if I do. Well, are you coming in or aren't you?
Well, I brought you these shortbreads and a housewarming.
Oh, thank you very much.
Oh, you're very welcome. I got them in for Christmas, only the tin's never been opened.
Hi. You wouldn't like to have the last bottle, would you, Mrs. Caldwell?
Oh, no, I wouldn't like to take your last one.
Give over as soon as we've sucked that lot. We can get down to the real business of the evening. We're playing Spin the Bottle.
Oh, Spin the Bottle. Oh, that used to be one of my favourites when I were much younger. That and Truth and Dare. Only, I think perhaps we'd better not say any more about that.
All right. Why don't you take that daft grin off your face and do something?
Like what?
Like getting me out of here before Mademoiselle from Armitiers finds out I'm as French as boiled beef and cabbage. That's what.
Look, I'm telling you, it's going like a dream.
Might be a dream for you, but it's turning into a nightmare for me. Why didn't you tell me you was bringing a real French bird?
Because I didn't flaming know.
Oh.
Courage, mon brave. Only another couple of hours to go. Hey, watch it, there.
I think it's gorgeous.
Hey, feel that pulse, mate?
Hey, that's racing, isn't it, eh?
That's just after the slow waltz. Oh, you're lovely. Hey, Ray, why don't you try it again?
Well, it's my legs, you know. They're not what they used to be since I retired from professional competition.
Emma, come and sit next to me and let these two get on with their business. Nous parlons de Paris.
Oh, how hot it is getting in here. Don't you think it is hot in here?
That seems all right to me.
Oh, I think it would be better if Ramon took me home.
Oh, no, come on.
No, I do not want to ruin the evening, please.
Oh, you don't. C'est come, écoute, come with me to the ladies and I'll put your wrist under the cold water and you feel much better.
I really think it would be better if I went home.
No. Besides, it's so early and we have so much to talk about.
Well, she'll be all right.
Oh, Emma will be all right, yes. It's probably just the English food, you know. She's not really used to it yet. We all set, then?
Well, I'm with you, are me, old son. Cigar?
No, thanks, sir. But it's just one thing that worries me.
Yeah?
But these sauna baths, we're not really going to be able to put any quality into them for the price you're paying, you know.
Well, so who's mentioning quality?
I'm not with you.
Oh, come on, Ray, grow up. I mean, in business, if you want to make money and you see something good going, you jump on the bandwagon. So at the moment, it's the snob thing to have a sauna, right? Like I say, it's a status symbol. Yeah, all right, well, so give them a sauna, but at a price they can afford. Well, I mean, if something goes wrong, I mean, who's to know the difference? Well, I mean, Mrs. Jones, the one who's trying to keep up with, she doesn't know. And if there are any comebacks, I mean, assuming they know where to find us, what do they expect for the money? Craftsmen? Business psychology.
Oh, aye.
Are you sure you want to have a cigar?
No. No, thanks.
Tea up.
What would I do without you?
Ernest,
Yes, Emily.
about the community centre.
Mm-hmm.
If we should find ourselves in office, as it were, by this time next week.
Oh, yeah.
It does rather present us with a problem. A personal problem.
How do you mean?
You haven't forgotten what happened while you were away in Barrow.
Well, I would have if you hadn't reminded me. That's all over and done with, Emily.
But it isn't. At least the situation in which we still find ourselves isn't. Nothing's changed, Ernest. We're still living in each other's pockets, so to speak. And if we do get elected to the committee of the centre, well, the problem's just that much more acute, isn't it?
You're not, changing your mind about anything, are you, Emily?
Oh, no, Ernest, of course not. I find your company most congenial. And at times, quite intoxicating. That's just it. I don't want what we have ruined simply because we're seeing too much of each other. And I want you to know that it's for that reason, and that reason alone, that I've done it.
Done what?
Well, if you must know, I'm thinking of seeking employment elsewhere. In fact, I'm more than thinking.
Oh, I see. Well, where elsewhere?
At the mail order warehouse. There's an opening there in the office, and I'm only trying to do what's best for both of us, Ernest.
Yes, of course.
You don't mind, do you?
Of course I mind. I mind very much. But if you think that's the right thing to do, I just don't want anything to come between us, that's all.
Quite.
Well, how soon do you think you'll be leaving us, then?
I haven't even got the job yet.
Oh, well, I'm sure you will. And if you want a reference...
Thank you. Ernest?
Yeah?
They do say absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Yeah, they do, don't they?
And your father, Emma, is in business too?
Oh, yes.
And what kind of business is that?
Well, first of all, he was in the bakery business, but you know, it was so boring for him, he was falling asleep all the time. So now he's in the plumbing business.
Oh, he changes business just like that?
Oh, that is nothing for my father. He has changed business more times than he has had hot dinners.
Hot dinners? And your Raymond says this too?
Oh, yes, all the time.
But you were talking about your father. He must be a very big man.
Oh, yes, very big. And my mother is so devoted to him, you know.
Right. A couple of large ones here for you, ladies.
Oh, there we go then.
Oh. Tell me something, Mel.
Who better to tell you anything?
That stuff you was giving me yesterday about Fairclough and Langton having a reputation, you know.
Yeah.
Well, it was just a come on, wasn't it, to get us interested?
Oh, now, come on. Would I do a thing like that to you, Ray? I mean, I said you were a firm with a reputation. I meant you were a firm with a reputation. Of course, I didn't say what kind of reputation it was you had.
Oh, I see, yes. You was looking for a bum firm to do a bum job for you, and you reckon we're a bum firm.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, that's very funny, yes. I like a bloke with a sense of humour. Well, while we're laughing...
Hey, you shut your gob before I knock your rotten teeth out! Oh! Candice! Should you?
I'm glad you're back in the street, Ina.
So am I, lass, so am I.
It'll make things much easier for you.
What things?
Well, keeping up with the news. It can be very convenient, can that, having a window as overlooks.
Minnie Caldwell, I hope you're not suggesting that all I'm moving back for is to make it better for me to go tooting.
Oh, no, Ina, only you must admit, it is one of the fringe benefits.
It's not locked!
It's B&B from the R&R. We're not too late to pay a social call, are we?
No.
I'm sorry we couldn't get here any earlier, but we've been having a little bit of trouble with a certain Welsh ragman. Insisted on singing Land of My Fathers 17 times.
This is from me and Betty. It's not much, but we thought it'd come in handy.
Oh, thank you very much. You wouldn't like a cup of tea while you're here, would you?
Oh, yes, please.
Right, go and put the kettle on, Minnie Caldwell, before you say something else you might regret.
Are you two at it again?
Oh, not at all. It's just that there's some folks round here as can't stand hearing the truth when you tell it to them.
It's only me. Oh, don't say that, Miss Nugent. I would have said you were more than enough for a certain photographer of my acquaintance.
Well, it's on behalf of that certain photographer that I'm popping in.
Oh, yes. Did you,
Yes.
Oh, and how did he,
As well as can be expected.
Hey, have you two ever thought of doing the clubs with that act? Mind reading a good down a bomb between houses.
Well, what I've really come to say is that, as you all know, the Community Association's meeting for the first time on Monday night to elect officers.
Oh, yeah?
And my own feeling is, allowing for some understandable bias in the matter, that you couldn't do much better than vote for Ernest Bishop as chairman. I trust I can count on your support.
Sure.
Oh, I think he'd make a smashing chairman with your Ernest.
Oh, yes, and you can tell Mr. Bishop from me that I shall vote for him.
And you, Mrs. Sharples?
Well, since you asked, I should have thought who we voted for on Monday night was his own business. Still, I suppose you can tell him that I will be giving him my vote. After all, better the devil you can handle than the devil you can't. And I know I can handle that one any time.